it's one of those things where he called me and said, "Hey, I need some help for this summer, and would you be willing to coach?" He wined me and dined me and took me out for dinner just to ask me to coach with him, and here we are going to the World Series.
Varsity Pulse Radio. We are here on location today at KSJE Studio to bring you a special treat for our listeners. A unique and inspiring interview with three generations of coaches. Join us as we delve into their rich histories, diverse experiences, and the timeless lessons they've learned on and off the field. Get ready for the insightful conversation that spans decades of coaching wisdom and passion for the game.
Marlon Wyatt. I'm 66 years old, and I've been coaching since 1986, high school and summer league programs.
I don't remember you coaching me in T-ball, but hey, welcome, Marlon. Eli?
Eli Wyatt, I guess age-wise, I'm 41 and been around baseball for really all my life, but been coaching really since about 2000. I coached some Little League off and on through the late 2000s, but really took off when I came on board at Aztec High School in 2015. So that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm Elijah Wyatt. I'm 20 years old, and this is my first year as a coach, and I've been playing for about 10 years now.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. One of the best stories of this year's Connie Mack World Series is our host team, the Frackers. They have three generations of coaches all coaching together and being a part of history. How does that make you guys feel?
Well, it was by just kind of by circumstance that it happened for all three of us to be together for this year. A little bad thing happened to Elijah to where he hurt his knee, and I'll let him tell you about that. But it's one of those things where he called me and said, "Hey, I need some help for this summer, and would you be willing to coach?" He wined me and dined me and took me out for dinner just to ask me to coach with him, and here we are going to the World Series.
Yeah. So whining and dining didn't take much, but seriously, in terms of the roster that we were pulling together and the representation for this four corners, and from the get-go, this is our fourth year with Frackers, me personally, and Elijah's played for us the last couple years. We made solid runs. There was just something unique about this summer, something real special right away. And as we began to really bring our roster together, there was no doubt needed some additional help, and it didn't take too much, but to get my dad out here together, and part of it wasn't necessarily having Elijah in the scheme of things, but that's the way sometimes life deals you those curveballs, and you make the best of it. And there's no one better, or no guys better, that I'd rather share this experience, let alone be on a baseball field with.
Right.
I mean, how many families get to enjoy this?
Right.
But for the Wyatts, we love the game, and that's why I don't think it took much to get my old man out here. But then, early this spring, when Elijah unfortunately had the opportunity to make some adjustments in his current baseball career, not indefinite, but to bring him on a part of our coaching staff is and it's been a blast this summer to share the field, the dugout, the strategy with my dad, and no doubt with my son. So
awesome. Before you move on, so I wish I was a fly on the wall at that dinner meeting that you guys had, pulling your dad out of retirement for the third time.
Yeah.
So I wish I'd have been a fly on the wall to see that, and I'm sure it
times.
was a quick yes, because of course it's father son, and it's that stuff that you write in that write in the book, and I love that you guys are here.
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't planning on being in New Mexico this summer. I was planning to play college summer ball, but I ended up in a freak accident on the baseball field and blew my ACL in my knee, and I moved home to just rehab and get back into things. But my dad gave me the opportunity to come be the first base coach for the Frackers this year, and it's been nice being able to stay on the field, be a part of the game, and no doubt being able to do it with my grandpa and my dad. It's amazing. It's so much fun.
What do you guys call each other on the field? Do you say dad? And
I
he
do.
says dad?
I do.
Okay.
I go, "Hey, Elijah."
Okay, that's
but
fair. That's fair.
there's times It's kind of funny you say that. And, my dad does a lot, for our pitching and our pitching staff and as our pitching coach. But, it's beyond that. But that's his expertise. I mean, he's one of the best around, and I think you know that.
Absolutely.
And, that was, again, part of the coaching strategy for myself as head coach is to surround myself with the best that I can, because I can't be all places, all things, especially at this level, and the strategy that it takes. And so there's sometimes, no doubt, when we're in the thick of some ball games, I trust my dad's judgment in terms of relief pitching and those decisions on the fly that you got to make in the moment. And there's times I might be on third base, and it might even not even just pitching. Might be hey, what about a pinch hit in this situation? And it goes both ways. And there's times that he might say, hey, E, what about this? And he calls me E. I've been called that from most of my life. And so it's either, hey, E, what about this? Or I'll say, trying to get the old man's attention, and he doesn't hear like he always does or once did. So it'll be, hey, Dad, Marlon. Sometimes it takes that to get the attention, but it's such the respect for the game, but also the respect for each other. And the same is true when I'm calling him on Elijah, as he's, worked with our players in different aspects of the game, and I lean on those guys for that. So
on the baseball field, Grandpa is known as the old man. I've called him that for 3 or 4 years now.
Right.
Everyone has. Sometimes, most of the time, I call my dad, but when I'm trying to get his attention, it's E.
Just a short E.
Just E.
Yeah. All right, Marlon, talk about the last time you coached in the Connie Mack World Series.
Ooh, that was back in 1992. I had the advertising idea Mets, and same venue, but boy, have things changed. Oh my goodness. Let's start with the teams first. You could make one adjustment. You had one pickup, and usually you went and got a pitcher. I went and got John Codrington, and he came here. He was signed at Texas A&M. We went on from there. I had, back in the day, it was Billy Mays. It was Ryan Chapman, whose son now plays for Tennessee.
And they just won something about a month ago or so.
That was so cool just to watch that whole thing take place, and just remember Ryan being on the field, and Vigo Torsky, what a name,
that's a baseball name right there.
That's a baseball name in itself. Just a bunch of kids that I had put together, Jonas Armenta, and just kids from the whole Four Corners area. And to look back and see that, and then look back and see what Eli has done with the Frackers. It's a full Four Corners team, and it's pretty cool how it all came together.
In saying that your team was a Four Corners team, do you feel like that was kind of the inspiration to make this a Four Corners team?
Sure, absolutely. That's really been my heartbeat since, I was asked to coach Frackers 4 years ago, was to bring together these athletes in our area, ball players that might not have a chance to play in a bigger venue or part of a bigger school program that can roll out those guys, or the amount of guys that it takes for the talent that it takes to compete at this level. I can't tell you how many guys that are playing for us even now that, wow, this is a different level of baseball. And it only increases now with the Connie Mack World Series. I mean, you've got these teams that are winning these qualifiers that have competed against 20, 30, 40 different other teams in these tournaments. The talent pool it's significant. And so it's important that we do our best to bring together that, but also to provide kids from this Four Corners that might not ever have a shot to make it. And we look down our roster and how cool it is, the representation of the Four Corners area. And I'm fired up to make San Juan County proud and go after this run at the 2024 Connie Mack World Series.
Right. So you talk about the competition getting tougher, and as you move on to tournaments, you guys played in that Albuquerque 505 Tool Southwest. There's amazing competition in that.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't want to scare, or you guys all know this is basically freshman college players going into college. This is basically a college tournament, and I say that there's a lot of kids that are not going to college, but there's 278 kids that are playing in the Connie Mack World Series this year. 209 of them have already signed to go to college.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it talks about that next caliber of play, you guys are in it. What a testament for your team to get and qualify to get to the World Series. But now it's time to pull up the bootstraps and let's go. Let's face some real competition outside of, just this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I really think that's a lot of what perspective that Elijah's been able to bring to the table of being a college athlete.
Eli, what is the difference in this year's Frackers compared to your previous Frackers teams?
Big difference. The last couple of years, in 2021, it was post-COVID year. It was a goofy year in terms of how things came together and asked to coach. And, even in that year, going after local talent and bringing in additional support and making that run, it was basically just winning the local tournament, and then there we were in the series, and so it was just different. That was, I had the privilege to coach that team at that level. That was my team that I was able to invest like we have the last few years. Maybe not necessarily, not really, but these last few years we've been building this, and that's where, as I shared earlier, that this is something, as we wanted to keep this going, to keep this Frackers baseball and representing the four corners the best that we can each year and continue to build off that. We've had a lot of great talent, and, the last couple of years, especially last year, I look at last, I thought of all years over these last few years, I thought, man, and we had a powerhouse of a lineup and a roster, and we had big dogs from all the way around and the guys that we brought in from Albuquerque, and it was just exciting. And we had a couple post grads that were playing with us that were doing big things at the college level, but still of age, being able to play. I think that's a great dynamic of this level. But we lost in the championship of the qualifier last year. And when I measure the age and the powerhouse of last year and this year, it's totally different. And we got great ball players. Yeah. We're scrappy. We're young. But I'll tell you what, and again, the heart of the team aspect that we have this year, again, it's real special. And that's what's helped us in competing in those 5-tool tournaments. That's what's helped us in rallying back in these big games. And just like we showed in the qualifier. And this team's got a lot of heart. Where we don't have a lot of big guys. It's kind of funny. I mean, again, last year's our 2022 or 2023 squad, we had big dudes. This year we half of our lineup were $150, but we put the ball in play. We manufacture runs, and we play hard-nosed small ball baseball. The kids compete, our pitchers compete, and just the team aspect this year, every summer is short, and that's one thing about, some of these other programs are able to roll out. They know how to communicate. They've been playing spring ball altogether. When you bring the diversity of different schools represented, everybody communicates a little bit differently, even down to how I give signs, and so we have to accomplish a lot in terms of communication, but the team chemistry this year is special. We've worked hard on that, from the old man, Elijah, myself, Coach B-Mart as well, from the coaching staff, is really establishing team effort and a team chemistry. And I really think we captured that at the right moment. It really was towards the end of our regular season play in that final 5-tool tournament. And it really showed us the type of team that we are. And it's proven, and it's rolled us in through the qualifier, and now we're going to continue to build on that into the series.
You're not playing college baseball. How do you think the experience of playing and now coaching will help you advance and move forward in college baseball?
Coaching and playing are two very different things. I didn't realize how big of a difference it makes. Playing the game, you're competing. Your coaching brings a whole nother level of, you see the game differently. There were things I didn't notice when I was playing that I see now as coaching. And it just given me a whole nother insight of playing the game.
But I just think, and maybe you're going at this here shortly, I don't know. But I think maybe talk a little bit about, I've leaned on Elijah at different times to say, hey, talk about your how you prepare at the college level, your approach at the plate, those things like that you've given these young kids a different level of understanding of baseball.
I've always gone out there and played the game. I try not to overthink when I play. When I step in that batter's box, I see the ball, hit the ball. And that's something the old man has always told me. Don't think when you're at the plate. And that's one big thing that I've told all these kids this year is don't overthink it. Just see the ball, hit the ball. And like you go up there, look for that first pitch fastball. Freaking smash it. Hit it as hard as you can.
Frackers picked up 9 players, 6 of them being left-handed pitchers. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, that was the strategy,
I thought that was going to be a secret.
I know, right? No. Hey, that's all out there, buddy. Which I like. So we, as soon as we, and we talked about it. I'm a hopeful kind of guy. I'm a glass full kind of guy. And we knew we punched that ticket to the World Series. Once again, my dad's experience in the Connie Mack World Series, my experience at Connie Mack World Series level, Elijah playing in the Connie Mack World Series. We all have a clear understanding of what that's going to take to compete at the Connie Mack World Series level. And so we've strategized we didn't want to ever put the cart before the horse because we've done that in the last couple of years. But at the same time, we have to be prepared because it's July and the tournament's in July. And so you have to transition really quick. And so no doubt there's been some in-season strategies, possibilities of who we might pick up. But we knew we wanted to go after strong arms. And at this level, you got to have depth of pitching. And we got great pitchers. The depth to roll through not only pool play, but to, hopefully play all week long into Championship Friday, Saturday. You got to have the depth of pitching, and you got to have pitching that's dynamic and competes at that next level. And so for us, we literally have no left-handers on our team. And so we thought we have lefties we have right-hand throwers that swing at lefty, but we have 0 left-hand throwers, pitchers, anything on the Frackers roster. And so we knew we need to add some left-hand pitchers. And so right away we went after that. But we also, picking up a couple right-hand pitchers that we knew of that beat us this summer. And we wanted to do our best. Personally, I wanted to do our best to represent not only the Four Corners, but New Mexico baseball. We did go even beyond outside of that. There are also some teams that we knew of and compete in some other qualifiers that had some impressive numbers. And not only just numbers, but I got to tell you, first thing we're wanting is kids that we can work with.
Right. Kids
that work hard. And we know when I contact these coaches, tell me, I see their stats. Tell me a little bit about this kid.
Right.
And we want kids that respect the game and are willing to put in that work to become a fracker overnight and to go after whatever that strategy looks like. So, we picked up 6 left-hand pitchers, 2 right-hand pitchers, and then we also added a catcher, Satish. He's a graduate from Albuquerque Academy. And so that's the back end of our roster and hopeful to help us make a run.
I think adding to what Eli was saying, Travis, is that we looked also at the passion that these kids have as far as they work well with kids. When we talk to their coaches, they work well together with the other teammates and that sort of thing. And that's where a lot of it came from. These kids they just melded right together. And, just for the passion of the game itself that goes a long ways for me as a coach. It always has. That.
Absolutely. Another thing is you pitched or you played against some of these kids, so you know how they handle themselves in situations, bases loaded, whatever, how they battle through it, and that's leading to the next one. J.W. Bayless, you got the local kid. Man, he's only 16, but man, he shoved it. He went 6 1/3 against you guys, had you guys shut out. I think he only had 3 hits at that point. Yeah. Then you guys come back. Flint Hoops comes in, gives up 5 runs. You guys end up winning that game 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. A lot of people don't realize that you had no runs on the board when you came into the bottom of the 7th inning, and you had 2 outs left. Yeah. So you guys battled through. But tell me about not only the performance of J.W. Bayless, but why are you picking that player? Yes, he's left-handed. I know that's part of it. But why are you picking Bayless as one of your pickups?
I think a big part of it is exactly what you just said. It's funny. I had a coach tell me that actually a couple of the Alexis and Alejandro has been playing with us. Coach Puentes from Bernalillo. Early in the spring, I had a conversation with them after we Aztec High School beat them in a tournament in Valencia. And we got to talking, and he said to me, he goes, "Yeah, you go win this tournament, because if I want my boys to play with the best if we're going to get beat by the best,
Right.
And the same is true for JW. I mean, he's an exceptional pitcher. One of the best in the county, there's no doubt. And he competed against us, and he's competed this summer, and he's shown to. And I got to tell you, he's a young kid, but he fits the mold of the Frackers. Yep. And in terms of not shying away situations, we've seen him under pressure, and that's again a part of the heartbeat of the Frackers is, what do we do under pressure? How do we manufacture runs? What do we do when our backs are against the wall and those things? And we're confident that JW is gonna already he's been practicing with us this last week, and he's already shown that he's here to be a contributor to the Frackers, period. And we're excited to see what he brings, not only to the mound and on the field, but to help us be successful, but also to be a part of that team chemistry that we've already built. And he's one of many of these pieces that we're going to plug in. So.
And being left-handed didn't hurt him either.
No, it didn't. that is a big part of it. So I interviewed Coach Crowley, of course, the 505 Panthers, and I asked him what he thought about, J.W. Bayless, and he says, man, he's a dog. But he left it right there.
Yep.
He's a dog.
Yep.
He goes out there and he battles, and he doesn't step down. And the great thing about him, too, he can hit.
Sure.
He can go both sides, and a great pickup for you guys, and I'm sure the other ones are going to be benefiting you in so many ways. I'm excited for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know how this is your new and improved pitching staff. How are you communicating with your new guys, and how are you molding them into your team? You kind of hit onto that, but I want you to go a little bit deeper into that.
Well, as soon as they get here, we're gonna be able to
Tomorrow night's big night.
mold a little bit better pitching rotation of what we're gonna do, as far as game one starter, reliever, long reliever, short reliever, situational reliever. That'll all be covered after tomorrow night when all the kids get here. We can talk to them and see what they, we're gonna work out and stuff, and see what how they talk, how they fit into our program,
Right.
Which I think they will very much so. But as far as moving along right now, we're kind of at a standstill till we can talk to the kids, because we take their inputs too, just like we took our input from our kids. What do you guys think about this situation sometimes, and that sort of thing. Listen to your kids; they'll tell you what's going on out there on the field.
Right.
But as far as pitching rotation right now, we got in mind our first 3 starts,
Right.
and then we'll go from there. Just after we talk to these kids and see what their heartbeat is.
I like it. The other thing is I love about the baseball community. Sure, when you're on the field, you're competitors. But off the field, man, they're some of your best buddies. And I say that because you can ask them straight up, hey, what do you think about this kid? And they'll be direct. Hey, he does good. He struggles on this. He does, and it's amazing that we can be a part of this. And I say as a baseball community, because I guarantee you call, I don't know, Eli, you coach for Aztec Tigers for the last several years, and you can call, like you said, Bernalillo or, whomever. Yep. And say, hey, what do you think about this kid? And they're going to give you an honest beat on, what they think this kid can or cannot do. Not only for their sake, but ultimately for that kid to be able to grow and be able to play in tougher competition moving forward. And as everybody know, in New Mexico, Connie Mack World Series is probably the best legit prestigious tournament in the United States. So how else are you going to have a better way of, allowing those young men shining on the field than getting back out on the field? There are pictures of you on social media sporting numerous different types of equipment, such as leg guards, elbow guards, the mittens and such. How do you feel about the players using them, and how do you keep them so stylish?
I'm not opposed to using leg guards and elbow guards and all that stuff. I use a leg guard when I hit in college. You gotta keep them cool looking. I mean, you can customize them, design them, make them as cool as you want. But the only reason those pictures are on there is because kids hit the ball well, and the first base coach holds the gear, especially if we're in the third base dugout. And coming into the dugout after a good inning like that is always the best feeling. Holding all those gear, keeping elbow, like 3 or 4 elbow guards, 3 or 4 leg guards, put up a bunch of runs at any. It's a good feeling when I walk into the dugout with all that gear on.
And I like the one picture I saw. You had two, you had pink and pink, I think, and then you had blue, and I don't know. There was an assortment of colors all of you. But you're exactly right. If they're putting on you, that means they're on base at some point in time.
Yes,
Either you got a single or a double. If you get a triple, then you have Eli over there, and I haven't yet to see him sport one yet. But I think he throws it over the side and say, "Hey guys, hey, come pick up your stuff." But man, I love it, and I love that you get to be a part of that aspect of the game.
Yes.
You said earlier that being a coach and a player are two totally different things. And the longer you're a coach, the more you realize how amazing it is to be on the other side of the line.
Yes.
So you learn so much more, I feel
Absolutely.
like. And the other side of the line, the closer side of the dugout. So, Marla, this is a question for all you guys. How do you guys feel about the wooden bats being used in ABC in the Connie Mack World Series compared to being aluminum or alloy in high school and now college as well, or of course still is college? How do you guys feel about the wooden bats?
I'm from the old school. I love the wooden bat. I love that sound of when somebody really hits the ball hard, and it's just a different sound. I'd broadcasted some radio in the last few years,
A couple times, yeah.
and I got an opportunity to talk to one of the players. He showed me on his bat, and that made the media for KSJE, and he showed me the transfer off of a diamond baseball insignia onto his bat when he hit the home run. And to me, you're not going to get that on an aluminum bat. You're going to get that on a wood bat, and just the sound that brings, that's baseball.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
I love it. E?
Yeah, I'm right there with him. I guess for me, the crack of the bat of a wooden bat is where it's at. No doubt in high school it was kind of exciting. Oh wow, we went to aluminum, but honestly, I would even prefer to stay at wood bat at that level, because it really does prepare these kids better of playing at that next level. But I'm also maybe because I wasn't a kid that hit many bombs, I appreciate the small ball game. I really do, and there's nothing like just guys hitting hard line drives, and we preach that, teach that all the time. Hitting line drive, and we got guys that hit bombs all summer. So we have the guys to do that. But at the end of the day, those guys hitting the alleys and just hard line drives, getting their bunts down. Wood bat to me speaks to the small ball of baseball, which I feel it needs to be played at, and the strategy of it. It's funny, you throw a metal bat in the same kid's hand at the same at bat of a wood bat, they're going to swing it differently because they're hoping that, it's 90% of this game is mental, and even you get a metal bat and it changes the way they swing. Why? Well, I got a metal bat, I could probably hit it over the fence. You get all these guys swinging for the fence, but I love wood bat for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big wood bat guy. I really like the sound of it. I've always swung a wood bat better. Like my dad said, it is mental with the change of a wood bat and a metal bat. You think that you can hit the ball a lot farther with a metal bat, which you probably
Statistically you can.
Statistically you can, but I don't know. I've always loved the wood bat better. I've always swung it better, and I think it helps kids compete a little bit better instead of just trying to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
They hit the ball the other way, the right center gap, and lay down a bunt.
Not only that, on top of that, you miss hit a wooden, it hurts or it's done.
Yeah, it does.
Aluminum, it still hurts, but it ain't done. You're still hitting with it.
We got some pretty sweet teal wood bats coming in for this series.
Nice.
Too.
No pencil bats?
No pencil bats. It's teal get frack bats, man.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. So in the host qualifying tournament, the Frackers lost to the Farmington Scorpions, and many felt that it didn't end the way that it should have. Without taking anything away from the Scorpions, they played a great game that day. What do you say to your team to help them move past that loss? But ultimately, you're now moving into a bigger tournament. You lose a game that you feel like you won. How do you tell your team? How do you guys tell them to move on from this point forward?
Well, I'm gonna point to him because Eli's always the one that talks first.
Okay.
I'm the pitching coach. He's the first base coach.
All right.
This guy right here gets the blown up
I'll get that one. Yeah, no doubt.
because you don't want to hear what I say.
So life in life, business, and baseball, hard conversations are always necessary when they're necessary. And at this level, there are times for hard conversations. I'll tell you what, and not only not take away of, but to give props and kudos to Albie and FHS. those kids played great baseball in the qualifier. I know they were struggling a little bit through the summer, but I'll tell you, and this game is about getting hot at this level. It's some of it. It's some of it. And we were having that conversation, and part of that aspect is Farmington got hot, and it's funny. And so not only out of a hard conversation, as I said earlier, I'm a half glass full kind of guy, a positive thinker, I'd like to think. And in terms of my leadership style, I do like to lead in that positive aspect. And the facts are, you got to, at this level, you have to learn from those losses. And we also have to turn a page quickly. I think I kind of differ in that teaching. Some guys are, hey, turn the page, turn the page. Sometimes we need to let that simmer a little bit so that we can learn. And when there is time, sometimes at the end of the night, hey, we're done. Let's turn the page. Let's move on. I'll even let you end a little bit of our meeting and talk that we had. I told the guys, I said, I want you to take this home with you, at least till about midnight tonight. Think about how could we came into that game sluggish. We came into that game collectively. We came into that game that we thought we had it won. Mm-hmm. And so in that moment, it's so emotional. I really felt that as a team that we needed to take this home, kind of sit on it a little bit, but then no doubt turn the page when we come to work that next day.
Right.
And it was pretty cool. There was one of our kids, Uriel Castro. We have a group text that we put all our stuff out on in terms of team communication. Mm-hmm. And he put out on there, and he just said, hey, guys, we got to believe. I don't even remember exactly what it said, but at the end of what he said, let's keep our heads, let's go to work tomorrow, and we got to believe. And it was out of that that was part of our conversation. But for one of our ball players, a young ball player at that, to rally the guys and say, hey, we got to believe in this. And we've been talking about that all summer. This team is special. We've scrapped it out. We've had good success,
right?
And we got to believe in what we're going after. But for a ball player to say, hey, guys, we got to keep believing. We got to believe in this. And we took that mantra on top of everything we've been working for and everything, and we applied it in that. And I got to tell you, it was a different heartbeat moving into that backside of the tournament. And it showed that we believe in our roster. We believe in our boys. We believe in what, we talk all summer. I've been talking a lot about seed and harvest and what we put into it. It's what we're going to get out. And don't go away from that. Even in that loss, we made some mistakes. We came in sluggish, but guess what? Let that settle. Let's turn the page. Let's believe in what we've been working for, that it's going to bring about a harvest in due time. And
I'll tell you what, a coach can carry a team, but a player puts a team on their back.
Come on. Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
You got that one leader. I mean, one I think of, I'm not a Yankees fan, never will be, but Derek Jeter, man, how many times did he put the team on his back? Let's go. Hey, I need a base hit right here. He gets up, he gets base hit. And that particular player may not be the one getting the base hits, but he's the one in the dugout that's getting everybody pumped up, being positive, getting everything moving forward. So great job on his part for taking that role. And he may not be that guy every day, but in that moment he was that guy. Right. And it doesn't have to be the same guy. It could be multiple guys saying, hey, let's do this. And hey, your team followed behind his lead, and here we go. You guys are now playing in the Connie Mack World Series as the host team. And tell you what, I played there in '99. It was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life.
It's awesome.
Like college baseball, the whole 9 yards. By far, playing in the Connie Mack World Series is the highlight of my baseball career. And as you know, it's
a blast. It's one of the coolest experiences a baseball player can be a part of.
More than you, gosh. And that's why, honestly, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, that's why I started this podcast, is because I have so much passion for not only baseball, but how this little tournament, prime example, I just interviewed 2 guys that were, in my house 30 years ago for being Connie Mack players that my parents kept. They made an impact on my life 30 years ago. Right. And sure, I was, 12, 13, 14 years old, whatever I was. But I remember, I know I only, wait, let's not, we started, I'll go back, I'll revert to that. Yeah. Age 41, yeah, no, just kidding. And I'm 43, so yes, I'm still older. There's players that leave here, and there's professional players that say, this is the biggest impact of my life was this tournament. And I really think that the tournament has grown in the sense when they left the double elimination, and now you have pool play, so you get to experience it even more and longer, and you get to form those lasting relationships from the host families. I know you guys don't get to per se, experience the host family part, but the sense you are the host team, so you get experience on a different level.
Absolutely.
And every single night, you guys will play the evening game. As long as you're still in a tournament, you'll play the evening game. And guess what? Every one of those nights are sold out crowds.
Yep.
Right.
And props to you guys that you've, of course, are in this journey. And the next steps are going to be, moments that will last forever. So, Elijah, going into that, here's a nice little segue. I'm going to ask all of you, but what's the positive impact that the Connie Mack World Series have not only on AABC but in Farmington? But what are ways that it could be improved?
I think one thing that's so cool about the Connie Mack World Series is it brings the whole San Juan County together. I mean, there's 10 to 12,000 people watching a baseball game. It's incredible. Wish they'd bring back the home run derby, but other than that, I think so, yeah.
All right.
Perfect. The community aspect is hands down, it's significant for my upbringing in baseball. I've literally grown up on a baseball field, as you know, from Hartman Park, running around there to, being a bat boy at Aztec High School, and then being a bat boy in Connie Mack level, and then playing all the way through high school. And, that's the community that the Connie Mack World Series has always brought about with host families and the support, and it's only grown. And I hope that it continues to grow. And, already we had our first meet and greet the other day at the Total Theater. It was a blast. And it was so cool for these kids that came out and signed in. We have another meet and greet coming up at the Strike Zone on Wednesday, 11:30. Anyways, I've already heard people about, just want to come out and just congratulate us, and it's exciting. So not only as the host team, but what it does in this community, and the one church service that's going to be held on Sunday morning. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, around baseball, two things important to my life, or three things, and family, faith, and baseball. I mean, that's what we tick off of. And to bring that all together in a community aspect is truly something special. And unfortunately, until you experience it, I don't know if you can truly grasp how special this is.
Travis, I just think it's the whole community as a total whole, as the people that are coming into town are welcomed. That's, if you'll listen to the radio broadcasts, the coaches are so grateful. The kids are so grateful for their adoptive parents, so to speak, for the week. And that is probably, I'm going to say, probably one of the biggest things that is great about the Connie Mack World Series. The guys do a great job putting this World Series together. They have for years upon years upon years, hence why it's still here in Farmington, New Mexico. It's a great World Series. I've been to several World Series, and I'll tell you what, college, junior college World Series, this is the best. I've seen it. I've seen several, and you go to this, you meet new coaches that come in. We got new coaches coming in again this year. And you get to meet those guys. I'll meet them from a different aspect this year.
Yep. Not behind the mic, but on the field.
On the field, and it's something to see everybody come together, and everybody's here just to bring their group and say, here's what I got. These are great kids,
right,
and they're going to play the game of baseball, and that's the way that we're approaching it. This is the greatest show on earth. Here we are. Here's our kids. Here's our 24 kids, and they love being here. You can't explain it until you experience it.
It is the ultimate saying it's way bigger than baseball.
Always.
I feel like the baseball is the bonus part of it.
It is.
Honestly. Yeah, watching the kids to play and
Sure.
seeing these kids throw 93, 94 and experiencing, hit that big, base hit, double, whatever off the wall. but it's behind the scenes stuff that if you don't experience it, you don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say special thanks. I'm not able to keep Connie Mack kids. Special thanks to this foster family.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They sacrifice a lot during this 9-10 days of the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, for fortunate enough, if they do get to stay the whole time, they're taking care of a whole other family. I mean, think about taking care of 2 or 3 additional teenage boys. I mean, Elijah, you don't eat that much, but I mean, you know, these kids coming in, they probably eat more than Elijah. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, whatever. You haven't finished your coffee yet, so maybe just amazing to be a part of that aspect of it. And I was fortunate enough, my family, you know, kept Connie Mack kids for years. And, you know, when you're still able to keep in contact with these young men that now have moved on into their own lives,
Right.
and now they're completely away from baseball, or they're still involved in baseball. If you guys watch the interview on what I had with Joe Christie and James Benton, Joe Christie is still directly involved with baseball, not only because of Connie Mack World Series, but it was the impact that he saw that he could have because of what baseball does to a community. So it was all part of all of that, and just unfortunate enough to be a part of it every year. Marlon has been doing on the KSJE side for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
But this year, it's going to be fun that we're going to be in the booth and be able to say your name.
You know what? It was kind of a sad phone call I had to make to the guys and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this
Yeah.
tournament, this World Series. This will be my last go around. I just want to enjoy the whole thing from this aspect,
Yeah.
because I've had the opportunity through the years through radio to enjoy the kids, the coaches, the community. You know, that was a sad phone call I had to make, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun. It's going to be.
Well, I know who you
That's
called, and I guarantee you that young man that answered the phone, I'm sure it was Mr. Carpenter.
Yep.
He was very pleased and knew already that you were making the phone call because he was at the same tournament as you guys. He was
Right.
calling that same game that evening. I got to say, doing the radio for me personally, it's been such a passion just because for wanting to get to watch baseball, spectacular baseball every night. It doesn't matter at the end of the score. It doesn't matter if it was a 12-0 blowout. These players are legit players. They come out here and sure, it's baseball. You never flipping know. I mean, think about the other day. The Oakland Athletics beat the Phillies 18-3. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's professional, but you never know what's going to happen. That's why you play the games. Who's showing up. Man, I appreciate you guys coming today.
Well, I appreciate the invite, Travis. Thank you.
Seriously.
And taking the time. And the biggest thing that I want to get out of all of these interviews in the future, it's about the Connie Mack World Series. It's about the community. And the bigger we make the Connie Mack World Series, the more benefit it helps the community, the more benefit it is everybody around us. And we allow more players to experience what not only Farmington has to offer, but what the tournament in itself has to offer. And hopefully we get some exposure for those young men coming in. Elijah,
Yes.
I appreciate you being open and coming out here. I know this is completely outside your box and comfort zone,
Oh yeah.
Nah.
but it's all right. You did great. You did fantastic. I wish you the best of luck and success in moving forward in your college career.
Thank you.
Take advantage of these next few years because there will be a day one day they will never be able to pick up a baseball again and play on that side of the diamond.
Yeah.
I miss that day.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to play college baseball as well. I got injured. It was an injury that kicked me out of baseball, and I still wish I can go up there and play on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
So take every moment and work hard and never stop playing as much as you possibly can. You know,
Absolutely.
Eli, appreciate you. You've worked your tush off to get to this point. I'm not only coaching for Aztec and for the high school side of things, but there's a lot of things on the background that you do that the players don't even know, the parents don't even know. The people that do know are your family. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes along with this. Yeah. And I know you're fortunate enough that your family supports you and loves you and knows that you're able to do this. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is I want to thank you as a coach to being a leader in the community and leader of a fantastic baseball team in the Frackers this year. And I'm excited what you guys are going to do here in the coming tournament.
Appreciate it, man.
Marlon, you are the pioneer for all these young men. You taught them what baseball is about and what it means to play a good game of baseball. But not only that, as a father figure, as a coaching figure, but you taught me as a coaching figure as well. I know several moments that you impacted my life positively. There were some questionable moments in there where this is how I don't want to be as a coach. No, I'm just kidding. There's no. But I want to thank you more, because if you weren't doing what you did, these two wouldn't be here.
Right.
It all comes back full circle every time. And by you leading this team in the way that you are, and I mean team as in family and as the Frackers as well, we're able to enjoy you guys on the field, but also the impact that you have off the field. And these kids will be impacted in a positive way. There will be moments in there like, I wish I would have done this or whatever else, but in 10 years, you will not remember the things you shouldn't have done. You do remember the things that you did do. And so it's always that impact that you see in your life. And guys, take advantage of this next 9-10 days. And I hope you were saying your guys' name on day 10
Come on.
on
That's
Championship
the goal.
Saturday or Championship Friday. Either way,
Yeah.
that's the goal, and that's
That's
why
the
we're
goal.
here.
Yeah. And that's, you know, I don't know.
No, go ahead,
Over
man.
or whatever, but that's a big part of what we've been focused on is we don't want to, you know, we've had goals all summer, right? We want to be top seed. We want to win the qualifier, and we want to go win. We want to represent San Juan County in the Connie Mack World Series, and we want to go win it. And that's been our mindset, and that goes back to everything that we've been working toward. Is we want to make statement, make some noise, and really make a run at it. Not just play in the World Series. We truly want to do our best and strategize and put the right guys out there. That's going to help us go after success and win some ball games. And like I said, hopefully be playing at the end of next week. So
That's right.
Me too,
come on.
guys. So thank you so much for KSG Studio.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Man,
Appreciate it.
Scott Micklin, Scott Duran. Thank you, Marlon, Eli, Elijah. Listen to all the games at Ricketts Park on KSJE 90.9, as we will bring every pool game and bracket play, and all the pool games at Frackers will be on KSJE. The Frackers play their first game on July 26th, Friday at 5:30 p.m. at the newly renovated Whirly. I'm excited for you guys.
I'm kind of heartbroken.
Wow.
It's like tearing down Yankee Stadium.
I know. Fair enough, man. It was.
I wouldn't look at it.
Staple,
It's
man.
not.
It's nice. They did good.
It's
They
way
did
job.
They did a good job. I'm excited for you guys to be the
Very
first game's
nice.
on there. Actually, you guys will be the
First
second.
team.
Is it the first game or second game?
Second
Second
game.
game.
Or the first local team
Local team to play on
to
there
play on
since
that.
last
No,
year.
I am fired up about that, but yeah.
And then Saturday is the doubleheader day.
Complex.
Yep.
Too, yep.
Yep, Complex at 2, and then nightcap at 7 on Ricketts Park. Of course, you can get that on KSG Radio that night. And then bracket play will start depending on your seating. You guys will either play Sunday night or you'll play Monday night. I think you guys are playing Monday
We
night.
play Monday night, 7:30.
7:30. And man, stay tuned for KSG, but also come to the stadium if you guys can. Watch some games, see them live. It's always better live, but if you can't, you'll hear my voice, and not Marlon's this year unless we're interviewing him on the sidelines. We'll hear Eli a few times in between innings throughout the tournament. And again, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, Travis. Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. And thanks for what you do for
appreciate this.
baseball community and for what you do through here, KSJE.
I know it's easier said than done.
Yes, sir. I had to read your hat.
All right.